children. Look at her, can't even have a child.
She was laughed at before she was heard, mocked before she was known, pitied before she was understood. In the small town of Okudili, a woman without a child was seen as a tree without fruit, standing but useless in the eyes of many. Her name was Amara. Amara was beautiful in a quiet way, not the loud beauty that turned heads in the market, but the gentle kind that made people feel calm when she spoke. She had kind eyes, smooth brown skin, and a smile that carried both warmth and pain. She had been married for 8 years, yet her womb remained silent. No cry of a baby had ever filled her home. No tiny feet had ever run across her floor. And for that, the town never let her forget. From the first year of her marriage, the question started. Amara, are you sure you are okay? Have you gone to the hospital? Maybe you should try herbs. She answered politely then, smiling through the pressure. But as the years passed, the questions turned into whispers, and the whispers turned into open laughter. At the women's meeting in church, they would talk about school fees, breastfeeding, and stubborn children. Amara sat quietly at the back, clapping softly, forcing a smile. Sometimes a woman would turn and say loudly, Amara, you don't know this one yet. When you have children, you will understand. Laughter would follow, sharp and careless. At the market, when a child misbehaved, some women would hiss and say, God forbid my child turns out like this. Then they would look at Amara and add, some people don't even have the chance to worry about children. They laughed like it was a joke, like her pain was entertainment. Amara's husband, Chibuzo, loved her, or at least he once did. In the early years, he defended her. When his mother complained, he told her to be patient. When his friends joked, he shut them down. But pressure has a way of wearing people down. His mother, Mama Chibuzo, never liked Amara. From the start, she believed Amara was the problem. In our family, women give birth easily, she would say. This one came with a locked womb. She took Chibuzo to pastors, prophets, herbalists, and prayer mountains, most of them without Amara. Slowly, Chibuzo began to look at his wife differently. He stopped holding her hand in public. He stopped smiling at her the way he used to. At night, he turned his back to her. Silence grew between them like a wall. One evening, after a long day at the shop where Amara sold fabrics, she came home tired. She found Chibuzo sitting in the living room with his mother. Their faces were serious. Amara, sit down, Mama Chibuzo said. Amara's heart sank. She sat. My son is not getting younger. He needs children. This family needs an heir. We have waited long enough. Chibuzo did not look at her. Mama Chibuzo cleared her throat. We have found a solution. Chibuzo will marry another woman. You will remain in this house, but she will give him children. The words hit Amara like stones. Her ears rang, her chest tightened. She looked at her husband, waiting for him to speak, to defend her. He only nodded. That night, Amara cried until her eyes burned. She asked God questions she had been holding inside for years. Why me? What did I do wrong? Am I not enough? There was no answer, only the sound of her own sobbing. The second wife, Ngozi, came 3 months later. She was young, lively, and already pregnant within 6 months. The town celebrated. Women who once avoided Amara now came around, shaking their heads in fake sympathy. You see, it was not our Chibuzo's problem. God has answered the family's prayer. Amara became invisible in her own house. The new wife occupied the front room. Chibuzo spent his nights there. Amara cooked, cleaned, and kept quiet. When Ngozi gave birth to a baby boy, the house was filled with joy. Drums were beaten, goats were slaughtered. Amara stood in the corner, clapping slowly, her heart breaking with every cheer. During the naming ceremony, someone laughed and said, "Amara, hold the baby now. Maybe the anointing will enter you." Everyone laughed. Even Chibuzo smiled. That was the day something inside Amara died. Not her faith, but her fear. That night, she packed a small bag. She left the house quietly before dawn. No one noticed. No one came after her. Amara went back to her late father's old house at the edge of the town. It was small and dusty, but it was hers. For the first time in years, she slept without crying. She decided she would no longer live for people who only saw her womb but not her heart. Amara threw herself into work. She expanded her fabrics business, traveling to nearby towns to buy and sell. She learned new designs, saved money, and slowly built a name for herself. People began to respect her not as someone's wife, but as a woman of value. Still, the pain did not disappear completely. Some nights, she would hear a baby cry in the distance and feel a familiar ache. But she learned to sit with the pain, not let it destroy her. One day, during a business trip to the city, Amara collapsed at her shop. She was rushed to the hospital. After tests, the doctor sat her down. "Madam, you have been carrying fibroids for years. That is likely why you could not conceive. But the good news is, we can treat it." Amara stared at him, shocked. For years, no one properly checked. All the prayers, all the blame, yet the problem had a medical solution. She underwent surgery. It was painful. Recovery was slow, but Amara endured. Months later, her body began to change. She felt tired, nauseous, different. A test confirmed what she barely dared to hope. She was pregnant. Amara wept like a child, not because of revenge, not because of pride, but because after years of mockery, her body had finally spoken. When the news reached Okudili, people were shocked. The same mouth that mocked her now spread the news in disbelief. Amara is pregnant? Is it true? After all these years? Chibuzo came to her house, uninvited. He looked older, tired. His second marriage had not brought him peace. He stood awkwardly, eyes fixed on her stomach. "I heard. Congratulations," he said. "Thank you," Amara replied calmly. I made mistakes," he began. Amara raised her hand gently. "I have moved on, Chibuzo." She did not shout. She did not insult him. Her peace was louder than anger. Months later, Amara gave birth to a baby girl. She named her Ifunaya, love. The same women who laughed now came with gifts. Some apologized. Some pretended they had always supported her. Amara welcomed them with grace, but she never forgot. Standing with her daughter in her arms one evening, Amara whispered to her, "They laughed at me, my child, but God heard me when they did not." And in that moment, she understood something deeply. Her worth was never in her womb. It was always in her strength, her kindness, and her ability to arise when the world tried to bury her. The laughter faded, the mockery stopped, but Amara's story remained a reminder that silence does not mean absence, and delay does not mean denial. And for the first time, the town of Okudili did not laugh at Amara. They listened. The end. Don't forget to subscribe for more interesting African stories.